Welcome to the Casinos.com podcast. From Las Vegas to London, Macau to Malta, gaming has transformed from a regional pastime into a global powerhouse of innovation, culture, and technology. And at the center of that evolution stands one event, the Global Gaming Expo, or G2E, celebrating 25 years as the beating heart of the industry. Today, we're joined by someone who's seen that journey up close. As Vice President of Global Gaming Expo, Korbi Carrison has helped shape not just an event, but a movement, connecting the world's brightest gaming minds under one roof. We'll talk about the legacy of G2E, the cultural crossroads between the US and the UK markets, the digital transformation reshaping casinos, and what the next generation of gaming innovation might look like. So whether you're tuning in from the trading floor or the casino floor, sit back because this episode is all about the past, present, and bold future of global gaming. Let's dive in. This is the 25th anniversary special of Casinos.com with G2E's very own Korbi Carrison. Korbi, welcome to the Casinos.com podcast.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts and the difficult questions and the grilling, let's just talk about Korbi Carrison. And how did you get into this industry? Because it is quite a unique industry, isn't it?
It really is. And I have to say that my roots run deep in gaming and I really love it. So I moved to Las Vegas over 30 years ago and fell into the gaming industry and worked on expanding my roots in marketing, worked for several different slot machine manufacturers and technology providers. And the experience that I gained there really led me into leading the G2E show.
And just as a sort of a background to your schooling or, your college and your career wise, is this something when you were younger you considered, or had you been a gambler? Did you like gambling? Have you bet? Do you play the roulette or all of these kind of things? Because you've got to have a little bit of a taste and a like for it, haven't you?
Well, I think for me, more than the love of gambling itself, I really enjoy watching people consume their favorite forms of entertainment. So personally myself, I don't really care to gamble. It's not something that is my chosen pastime, but I really enjoy watching people enjoy themselves. I really enjoy witnessing consumer behavior, and my career in gaming has been all about how to help people get their entertainment level to the next level and how to create memorable experiences for people, whether they care to be joined with friends and family or if they would rather be on their own. I think it's a lot of fun to help people explore what entertainment means for them.
And G2E just celebrated its 25th anniversary. That's a quarter century. It's the global gaming industry's flagship event. Looking back, what would you say have been the biggest milestones that shaped G2E's evolution into the powerhouse it is today?
Really, behind all of the evolution is innovation. So every year we see products and services that really innovate the industry and take things to the next level. If I were to look at particular milestones, I would definitely have to say in the US, the overturning of PASPA was really a data point that changed things a lot for the industry. Therefore, it changed things for G2E because we craft G2E to be something that is reflective of the industry and where the industry is going in the future. So that was definitely a point that changed things and definitely changed how the industry innovated. It changed how the industry regulated and worked together with operators and suppliers to create the next chapter in gaming in the US. Now, also along those lines, we've seen evolution and change even in this year's G2E. Along with our 25th anniversary celebration this year, we introduced the G2E Dealer Championship. So this was the very first time that we implemented a contest of this nature at G2E. and it was a huge success. We really felt like we wanted to do something that celebrated the talent and skill of gaming professionals, the dealers that really help to bring people in to the casino operators, and they really keep them there. It's a talent and skill that isn't always recognized, and we decided that we wanted to celebrate that. So we really are pleased with 34 dealers from across the United States that chose to join us this year. And I think that we'll see that program growing in the future because it's something that brings a lot of excitement and attention to a sector of our industry that really, I think, deserves more attention.
And there are obviously massive differences between the US and UK gaming markets. They're very different routes. The US had its massive land-based legacy with the casinos, the super casinos, and the UK, we've got these little casinos, and some big ones in London and the big cities, but generally, it's nowhere near what the US has. But we do have a mature online betting culture as well. But from your perspective, how do these differences show up in the types of innovations or conversations? I know you have people over from the UK to talk at G2E. Does that collaboration, do those conversations take place? How am I supposed to, how am I to improve and build something like you've got here in Las Vegas or anywhere else? What kind of conversations are taking place there across the Atlantic between them?
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for collaboration in the space, and it's very important to recognize that going in either direction is not a copy and paste situation. So there's a lot of space to learn from different markets. And this is where diversity is really important. And diversity is power, really, in the industry. There's so many very intelligent people in this industry that realized there's a lot to be learned from counterparts across and on either side of the pond, so to speak. So I think it's really important that we come together and we collaborate in spaces like G2E, and we do that throughout the year as well. When we're planning the content for G2E, we put out a call for content, and we put that call across the world and say, what is it that you think is important to be discussed at G2E, or what can you bring to the table? Some things that I think are important across both the US and UK gaming markets is responsible gaming. There's no question that there may be similar or different approaches, but it's very critical to both markets. And it's also possible for us to learn from one another how to continue to keep this pastime safe for all of the participants.
You mentioned there the cross collaboration and sending out the invites. This year's G2E, for instance, welcomed attendees from over 120 countries, a really true global village of gaming there. And this multicultural collaboration you've touched on there, the continued growth and creativity of the industry. Are the problems the same? Are the issues the same? We hear so much about the huge stringent regulations, the stops coming down, the prevention of people expanding or setting up in different geos. Is this the hot topic?
There are so many hot topics. I think as we have conversations and learn from each other, I think that there are different regulatory situations across the globe. But the key is that we work in regulated and legal industries. And it's really important to keep those conversations going around regulation. And all of that roots back to being responsible, and whether it's advertising responsibly or having safeguards in place for players to be able to enjoy responsibly. I think that's one thing that we all have in common.
And looking at the US market, it's seen this explosive growth post-PASPA, while the UK faces a period of tighter regulation we've talked about there. What lessons, good or bad, do you think the UK gaming sector could take from the American model?
There are lessons that we can take from each other. I think at the root of it, it's about collaboration. It's about having conversations together between the suppliers, the operators, and the regulators. And in those conversations, we learn and we grow. We learn from each other's diversity and experience. And that's something that's very important that happens at G2E every year.